Hello, and welcome to Come Play With Us, a spooky storytelling podcast. My name is Leila, and I'm joined by my evil twin,
Ruby. We're actually both the evil twin. We're both writers with non-writer day jobs. We believe in the power of great storytelling, so we've invited guests with the challenge of weaving a tale about real-life hauntings and paranormal activities with the sole purpose of scaring the shit out of us.
We'll rate them to see how they've done. Our ratings go a little something like this: scared shitless, some chills, and I think I'll be able to sleep tonight. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Come Play With Us. We took a summer break, and we're back just in time for spooky season. And our guest is Rama, our Nepo baby niece.
Hi.
And
Nepo baby.
yes. And this time, I'm going to scare Rama.
Yay!
Well, we'll see if you scare her, because she could end up saying
she
wasn't scared.
I'm a challenge for sure.
And Ruby, you're going to rate me too, because you haven't heard this. You're just the
I also
rate.
have no idea what this is. I don't even know what it's about. You haven't told me.
So we're going to set the scene. So this is Leila speaking, because people can't tell our voices apart.
I can.
Oh, well, okay. I'm in my room. It's really, really dark. I pulled the shades. I left one lamp on because this story really creeps me out, to the point where last night I was thinking about it and I couldn't sleep. So, what about you, Ruby?
I already have my Halloween decorations out. So, candles are lit. Went to Michael's yesterday and did a lot of damage. I only went to go pick up one thing, but I ended up walking through the Halloween decorations and just grabbing all kinds of things. So I have them out already. It's never too soon. So I've got a gold skull candle lit, an eerie glow next to my television set.
And a giant spider over your head.
A giant spider over my head. And I can't shut my curtains all the way because we just bought some hanging plants. So, and they're in the window. So it's only kind of dark. It's not as dark as I normally like.
It looks dark.
Yeah, it always looks darker than it really is. But I think it's enough to where I think it'll get nice and spooky here. And Rama's outside enjoying the beautiful sunshine.
Yeah.
There's actually not very much sunshine. It's very overcast today. And it's definitely cooled down a lot. So I want to sit outside.
Yeah. Okay. So some background. So Paul and I, in the middle of August, went to Savannah to visit some friends. And actually, I'm going to have my friend on this show very soon. But they live in Savannah, and Paul and I kind of went and did a ghost tour on our own, because they do a ton of ghost tours. They've seen it all, done it all. So one of the things we saw on our ghost tour, which was great, it was the Sorrel-Weed House. So that is the subject of my story.
Yay! I've never heard of that place. Ruby.
I had to tape up my curtain a little bit more because I felt like it wasn't dark enough in here. But the Weed House sounds...
Sorrel-Weed House.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Exactly. That's a grandma's alley right there.
I'm going to tell you about the most haunted house in Savannah, or all of the U.S. It's been featured on multiple shows like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and Most Terrifying Places on Earth. There's lots of blogs devoted to it. I read some of them. Some of them had some creepy pictures that resulted from their tour. So I'll get into that later. But it's located on 6 West Harris Street in Savannah, Georgia. When I saw it, I thought it was it's just so incredibly beautiful. Even at night, it was just so pretty. I'll show you guys a picture of it, and we'll add a link to the Wiki Commons picture. But it has this orange facade with like red trimming, and it's not like bright of an orange. It's just like comfy, sort of like burnished orange, and it's really, really big. I think it's like 16,000 square feet, and it's very, very haunted looking. Let me show you guys a picture of it.
Looks like a weed house.
Pretty and charming. It's just very overgrown, little, almost like a cottage fairy tale looking house. It's really pretty.
It's really pretty.
I like those windows.
Charming. I feel like Savannah is just very charming.
It is.
It definitely comes out that way.
So it was built in the Greek Revival style, and it kind of has this like Mediterranean influence. It's honestly just a stunning house. So let's dive in a little on the history of the house. It started being built in 1835 and completed in 1840 for Francis Sorrel, who was a wealthy shipping merchant. He was half Haitian and half French, and he grew up in Haiti before traveling to North America and becoming one of the wealthiest men in Savannah. His father, Antoine Francois Sorel de Rivieres, was French, and his mother, Eugénie de Soutre, possibly a free Black woman who ended up dying shortly after giving birth. And then after a couple of years, his father abandoned him as well. So in 1807, when he was a teenager, he began to work as a merchant clerk in Port-au-Prince to make ends meet. From there, he transferred to the company's Baltimore location, and then he partnered up with a man named Douglas, and they moved to Savannah to set up business there. Unfortunately, some of his business was also part of the slave trade, and I think that's how he made a lot of his money as well. Shortly after he arrived in the U.S., he married Lucinda Moxley. She was 17 and he was 29, I think. And she came from a really wealthy family, and she was also the niece of his business partner, so his family knew Sorel well. But a few years after they married, in 1827, Lucinda died of yellow fever. And then 2 years later, he married her younger sister, Matilda. Yeah.
Scandalous.
Why do they do this? They do this a lot.
I mean, it was like we'd raise our eyebrows now, but that was normal back then to just, marry the sister if your wife died. And also back then,
a Bollywood movie.
Yeah. But then back then when you married a wealthy woman or a woman of means, basically her money just became her husband's. So he was keeping her family, the Moxley wealth in the family, basically. So between his two sister wives, he had 11 children, but 3 died in childhood. At some point after he married Matilda, he forced himself on one of his slaves named Molly. Matilda suffered mental health issues, and when she found out about Molly, she spiraled and became despondent. And she took her own life. She jumped off the second-story balcony. She landed headfirst and died instantly in the courtyard.
I just wonder how that sounded.
This is reminding me of Jane Eyre, with Bertha, and when she leaps to her death. Remember, she's kept in the she's
Attic.
like his Caribbean. Yeah, she's like his Caribbean secret wife. He's like, she's mad, she's crazy, and then he keeps her, and then she jumps to her death.
Yeah. When I was there, I was like counting the floors, and I was kind of following with my eyes the trajectory. But
of course you were.
Yeah.
I would too.
I feel like a lot of people were.
I feel like I just reenacted, but not really.
No.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And then, of course, wealthy family rumors went around whether she had truly committed suicide or perhaps been pushed. And then poor Molly was overtaken by guilt, even though it was not her fault, and the relationship was likely 100% non-consensual. And she later hanged herself in the slaves' quarters, which was also the carriage house, or the site of the now carriage house, which was built later. In 1859, he decided to sell the property and moved right next door into the adjacent house on 12 West Harris Street. And our tour guide had mentioned it was connected by the basement, but I didn't see that in my research. But I remember she had said that, and I thought that was interesting. And then he died of stroke in 1870 at the age of 77. So the home was then purchased by Henry D. Weed in 1862. That's your man, Rama. Who was a wealthy businessman and landowner from Connecticut, and the house remained in the Weed family until 1914. After his death, members of the Weed family remained in the Sorrel-Weed mansion until 1914, at which time they lost the home due to bankruptcy. And then in 1941, it was bought by A.J. Cohen, and the family lived there for more than 50 years. And then since then, it's become a prominent landmark. It's protected. It has like the plaque outside, and now also known as one of the most haunted houses in America. So some of the things that have occurred, or the sightings that have been commonly reported, are the spirits of Molly and Matilda, along with the Shadow Man, but I'll get to him later. They're seen as dark apparitions walking around the halls of the home. Visions of women in the mirrors throughout the home is a common sighting. So when a lot of tour groups go in, they're like, there's this big ornate mirror, and they're like pictures of it, because some pictures come back with visions of women. And I saw one blog where someone took a picture of the mirror, and in the bottom right corner, there was someone who had like a bob and was wearing suspenders, and they were like, this person was not on the tour group. And they thought they captured someone maybe from hundreds of years ago.
But a bob? That's like the 20s.
Yeah. No, I know. It looked like a dated hair cut from like the Confederate time, you know.
Was there Bob Phi?
What? Is this a young person reference?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know it.
Is it safe? Is it a safe for work reference? Because I don't even know.
It is. Okay. When someone has a bob, they're like, my bob's Phi. Like it's fire. Is your bob Phi? Okay. That is specific to that trend. I don't do that.
Okay.
I say
now that we know what it. Now that we know what it is, it's already gone.
It kind of was.
It's not funny anymore.
It kind of was. I
always say this: the second I learn about it, then it's already gone. It's not cool anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, we're old. We ruined it.
Yeah, you guys are so old.
Put those eyebrows down.
There have been sightings of a weeping woman on the second floor of the house. That could be Matilda, because she did jump off the second story. And her voice has been recorded before on EVP equipment from ghost hunters asking for help. So that's where people think maybe she was pushed. People who visit have been told to take pictures around the house, and a lot of people have come back and seen strange apparitions of people in colonial garb in their pictures, like the one I mentioned, or orbs, things like that. And there are also ghostly children. Some people who have visited have felt pinches on their legs or being grabbed by small hands. Sometimes the children can be seen darting around a corner, wanting to play hide and seek, amidst the eerie, ghostly laughter of children, which has also been reported. And the spirit of Molly is said to haunt the home's slave quarters, which was, in modern times, rented by a man who used it as an office. And when he was in there, he constantly felt uneasy, like he was being watched. And in that same area, when people have been on tour groups, they felt physical manifestations of hauntings, like feeling nauseous, feeling like they're being choked by a thick rope when they're going through that part of the house. And then there's other reports of the sounds of parties and gatherings in the living room. Since the Sorrel family was wealthy and influential, they had a lot of parties in their massive living room. And some people have smelled perfume or cigar smoke in that room. And also lively piano music, though weirdly, the sound ceases as soon as they approach the room. And then there's also been strange occurrences on electric equipment. Cell phone batteries have become drained over a short period of time. And tour groups inside the house have heard knocking on the doors and walls, which their guide will say, that's totally normal, that's expected. And I saw one account where someone heard scratching sounds coming from the furniture, and they're like, yeah, that happens. But all of that is nothing on the Shadow Man. So in general, there's a really dark energy around the house and also the surrounding areas. During the Revolutionary War, there was a really horrific battle called the Siege of Savannah in 1779. And the current site of the house was built over an old British fort. After the battle, which was one of the most gruesome and bloodiest of the battles in the war, huge ditches were just dug on the spot, and hundreds of bodies just dropped there and never removed. I think it was like 1,000 casualties. And then Savannah continued to expand around the original battlefield, and many of the buildings in the area, including the Sorrel-Weed House, were built right on top of the old burying ground. Hi.
Hi.
It's just getting good, man. It's just getting good.
I want to hear about the Shadow Man.
Okay, so Savannah is basically like a massive graveyard. Bodies are constantly being turned up during modern day excavations. It's just, there's always bones being unearthed. And then there's this little park right across from the house. It's called Madison Square. Part of my ghost tour, we walked around that park as well. But it was also a burial ground, and it's also purported to be haunted. The sound of gunshots are often reported in the square, especially during quiet nights. And visions of men in uniform are often seen, casually walking by. In fact, during my tour there, the guides of the cops have gotten so used to people calling in sightings of strange people or a ghostly woman roaming in the park, they just shrug and go, oh, it's just the ghosts. But there's a story of the Shadow Man that I just couldn't let go of, which I also heard on my tour. At some point, between when Francis Sorrel stopped living there and the new owner moved in, a doctor occupied the basement of the house. And this could have been right before the Civil War, or obviously when the house was between owners. And there was a local jail around the corner, and he would take prisoners from there, and he would experiment on their bodies. Since there wasn't a lot of medical knowledge back then, the doctor would torture and inevitably kill his patients. But if it was in the pursuit of knowledge or something more malicious, you can decide.
That's some American Horror Story shit.
Actually,
yeah. And I'm sure it wasn't
actually, I was just watching a documentary last night called Bad Surgeon, where a doctor was just putting in these plastic tracheas into people's throats, replacing their trachea, and just doing that. And every single person basically died. And he's basically just experimenting and had zero moral. And one of them was like a 2-year-old child. Like zero, didn't care. It was really chilling.
So today, a spirit called Shadow Man lingers in the basement. Some images and videos often show a tall, thin apparition pacing back and forth, or capture a hollow face looking back at them. Some people have even seen a long, thin, shadowy face staring out at them from the street, or hands lying flat against the glass. You can see the basement, there's these black windows, and I was staring so hard because you really think you can see something behind staring back at you. It was really eerie. And I can't imagine the absolute terror of being one of those prisoners, waking up in a dark basement, completely incapacitated, while a shadowy figure hunches over you, working on your flesh. The idea of the Shadow Man still gives me the creeps. The house clearly didn't just contain the deaths of a man and 2 women. There is a darkness within the Sorrel-Weed House that also grips the surrounding areas. You feel it as you walk around the square, just this heaviness around your shoulders, and it inevitably draws your eyes back to that beautiful grand facade. It's inescapable, or maybe it's the Shadow Man reaching out, wanting to claim another victim. The end.
Come and take me, Shadow Man.
What did you experience walking around?
Just foreboding creepiness.
Did you fear that lingering sense of being watched.
Walking into a room.
Yes, I definitely felt a sense of being watched, and especially when we were looking at the basement windows, again, like black windows, and they've said, imagine like white hand, just like ghostly white hand, just like against the
They probably
pane.
just thought you were attracted by them.
Were there any rooms where you walked in and you just got just this?
We didn't go in. This was a walking
okay, so
tour.
just the outside of the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go in the house.
You can do that. You can do that. You can do tours inside the house, but for us it was one or the other because we were only there for 3 nights. So we were like, we just need to pick one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I would go inside.
Yeah, you can. You can do tours inside.
We should do that next time.
Next time, like what? Like go to Savannah or?
We could go together, yeah. We could stay
Yeah,
kind of like in the main area because we were like in the burbs, so we would like drive out. There's a lot of haunted stuff there. There's a haunted bookstore with cats.
Is like haunted.
Oh, I feel like anywhere that's been part of the Civil War or anything is haunted. Like Maryland.
Where that local jail now is a CVS and it's haunted. They're like that CVS was the local jail.
The story was,
and there's like stuff flying off the shelves.
And the story was reminding me a little bit of when we went to Morris Jamal Mansion. Just how people, the experiences they get of like nausea. And I remember, and we have obviously an episode on this, but I definitely felt watched in there. Like
I did.
They were just like, you could feel like more than one presence. But
I felt empty.
But weirdly for me, you always feel empty. You're just empty inside. But for me, it felt almost warm and comforting because it was like, remember it was like raining, but it was like they had the heaters on and it was warm and it felt inviting. I felt like I was welcome there.
Yeah, it was cozy in there, and it was like a nice warm night too because August. But I did get the square, the Madison Square that's right across the street. It's creepy. Like you definitely feel it in the air and in the house, like even outside of it. Like you just can't.
What did you feel? What did you
it's
feel?
Just something just draws you
in the square.
Well, why don't you guys rate my story and I'll tell you about the rest of the ghost tour because some weird shit happened.
Well, that's the thing is I want to hear more because then I feel like I'll be more scared if I hear more about scary stuff that happened.
Rate the story.
You go first, Mama.
Hold on. Okay, so our ratings are
We're getting rusty. We took a summer off.
Yeah, getting rusty.
How do we do this again?
So the ratings are, I think I'll be able to sleep tonight. That's the lowest. The medium is some chills. And then the scariest is scared shitless.
I'm going to say some chills.
I'll also take some chills, but I think that's why, like, for me to go from some chills to scared shitless is like, I want to know, like, what you experienced, how you felt, anything chilling that happened to you.
No, because we were just outside.
Because
we didn't go inside.
Shadow, but you were getting
that was an
outside.
option. We just didn't have time.
I creepy as hell, but I guess if there was more of like someone having seen the shadow man or experienced him or something, I'd feel more scared. But I know it's hard because you weren't inside, so it's hard to really,
I feel like if you were inside, you'd be able to kind of feel it more.
Oh, people really do when they're inside.
Yeah, like we did at Morris Jamal. We had a lot of haunting stuff happen to us there,
So when we were on this ghost tour, we because what I love about walking ghost tours is you also get so much history. And
I like the history part.
Yeah, and so it was that, or it was go and do like a house tour, and I thought I would lose out on history if I did that because walking tours are I think they're just so valuable in that. So there was one place we walked up to, and it was this like giant building, and it used to be an orphanage, and so we were standing there, and she took out the dowsing rods.
Throwback.
I'm gonna buy my own EMF reader. and just start taking it with me to these. And I almost want to buy my own dowsing rod.
I want to buy my own EVP recorder.
Wait, what's EMF and EVP?
I mean,
EMF has like the little lights that go red. So we have those
that's
as well.
the magnetic field. The EVP
Yeah.
is. I'm gonna get a pendulum.
Okay, that's
Okay,
definitely gonna work.
thanks.
The ghost will
That
use
helps.
that too.
A pendulum is the same thing as dowsing rods.
So if it goes one way, that means one thing, and
If it swings, if it swings one way, I think it's back and forth. It's yes, and if it swings left and right, it's no. And then if it goes in a circle, it's like
What I like with the dowsing rods is like they're really easy to decipher.
well, and also there's times when I've held
It's
it and I've said, "Where are you?" and it's turned and it's pointed. Like
Yeah,
at the Maurice
that's what
Jamel
helps, too.
mansion, I was speaking with a ghost and I said, "Where are you?" and it turned to a chair sitting right behind me, and that's how I knew. Ooh, I got to
Okay,
think
So-
about that. Everyone was
I'll find dowsing rods.
good. Glad we
And a
twisted your
pendulum.
arm. So we're outside this building, and I swatted at my leg because I felt a bite. And she looked at me and she was like, did you feel a pinch? And I was smiling. I was like, yeah. She goes, so a lot of people feel little pinches when they're here because it's the kids trying to get your attention. And Paul was standing next to me. I think this was his first ghost tour with equipment because we've always just done like walking tours. We've never done it. He's never.
Oh wait, there
done
was
equipment.
there was equipment. I didn't know you guys did with equipment.
So we had EMF readers. Okay. Yeah, so there was a kid-friendly one without equipment, and then there was an adults only at like 9:30. And we're like, okay, let's just stay up tonight. Old farts, like let's just stay up tonight and we'll do.
It's getting past my bedtime.
Yeah, it was definitely past our bedtime. So I was like, let's do this one. And I was like, oh, adults only because you stop in a bar, and like we did, and everyone used the bathroom. No one got a drink.
Haunted bar?
Because you can walk around. You can no, but you can drink publicly like on the street and stuff there. I didn't really see a lot of people doing that, but yeah. So I look at Paul, his eyes are all wide, and she said, and then she did the spirit box, and it just wasn't really working. It wasn't like the LA one.
Oh my gosh,
the voice was actually answering questions.
Yeah.
You know,
or
it was
even,
actually
even
it was actually
house, remember we got the guy saying like she left me, and we heard the piano playing. Ooh, I'm getting creeped out, but by something else.
Yeah.
Give that one. Can't sleep at night.
Give that.
Well, I was scared shitless last night.
That's the one.
That's not a rating.
That's just a condition.
That's my own. This is my own rating.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night.
A Rama special.
Cry for help.
I already am an insomniac.
Yeah. So you guys didn't really catch anything on the EVP?
Not. We didn't do EVP.
Oh, sorry, the voice box. Sorry.
Spirit box. No, I thought she was really struggling with it, and it's fine. Like some people just don't have it.
That pull.
Yeah, and then she like gave someone the dowsing rods, and then when I swatted at my leg, she's like, "Do you want the dowsing rods?" And I said, "Honestly, whenever I've done ghost tours, they never work on me." And she's like, "Well, I think they might because they've already made contact with you." And Paul's silent, wide-eyed beside me. So she handed me the dowsing rods, and I don't remember what the first question was because nothing moved. And I was like, "See, it doesn't work with me." And then she said, like, were you trying to get Leila's attention? And then it crossed and said, yes. And then and she was like, do you like her? Like, you know, do you like Leila? And then it crossed and it kept crossing so that one was on my shoulder and the other was on my shoulder.
A hug.
And I looked at her and I was like, are they giving me a hug? And she said, yeah.
That is so
They
sweet.
are.
Actually, kids do love us. Like, kids gravitate towards us.
Unless it's a demon.
Even demon children, even the worst kids.
Demon children need love.
Even the worst kids, for some reason, love us. And even like a ghost kid, that tracks. It's fine.
Yeah, I thought it was really sweet. That's
heartwarming. That's not scary, but that's heartwarming, though. Oh, now I love that ghost baby.
I know. And I think
Punch
it's
it.
women. I think it's women that they
Women of
like,
color.
you know, kind of target.
POCs.
But then later on, Paul told me he got so freaked out when that happened because he was like, "Oh shit, they want her, and I'm standing in their way, so they're gonna kill me, so they can have her."
It's like a whole narrative he just created.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah.
But they
But what
didn't
if they
kill
followed
you.
you home?
No.
They were like, "We love her so much."
Well, we did a thing where we at the end, we all, and that was the end of the tour, and so we all held hands, and then we basically just repeated some phrases she said, which was like, "Okay, like we're leaving."
Yeah, but kids
you
don't have
here.
boundaries.
Like, you're not coming
kids
home
don't
with
have
us.
boundaries, and they were just like,
They say, you
I
leave,
come with.
I come
Yeah.
with.
Well, it's September now, so they did not come home with me, and the cats would definitely know if there was ghosts here.
Yeah, the cats don't like kids.
Yeah,
They run and hide from them. So
no, they don't like kids. Yeah, because kids are unpredictable.
was anyone else
energy
freaked
and
out on
cats
the
don't
tour
like
when
that.
they saw that happen?
I don't know.
I need to take Todd. I think I'm gonna take him to the Morris Jamal Mansion because there's no other EMF type tour in New York that I can think of aside from that. I think there's a Merchant House one, but that's much more pricey.
There might be some new ones. I mean, there's the Ellis Island Hard Hat tour, it's not officially. Yeah, it's not a ghost tour. It's purely historical, but people do, you know, bring equipment. And that's another thing too. Basically, Savannah, you could just feel it in the air. There's just it's just so old and haunted feeling. And we did this thing where we went to this like old homestead that is like still somewhat up, and we were walking around the grounds, and there was this well and this little cottage where I think people slept, and it was tiny. It was like the size of my room, and it had a little loft, and there were like 16 people staying here. I'm like, how? Like piled on top of each other? Like how did y'all move around? Like it was seriously the size of a bedroom, and then like a little attic above it. And I fired up the Ghost Tube app, and I caught. Actually, I think I have a video. I'll show you guys. Maybe I'll upload it as well. But it was a figure at the well, basically like bent over, getting water out.
Interesting. I want to go to another haunted location.
Yeah, when you think of what's another haunted thing we can do, I think I might just sign us up for like a ghost tour, but then we just bring our own EMF stuff. Because a lot of these, they don't give you the EMF reader, so we could just get our own, bring our own.
Yeah, I want to go to Goatman's Bridge down here again.
Yeah, and bring an EMF.
And yeah, or something. We did a Ouija board last time, but to no avail.
All right, well, thank you so much for listening, Rama, and I guess Ruby.
Hey, what do you mean you guessed, Ruby? I was here and I was listening.
Yeah, but you always say, "Oh, well, it's our guest is supposed to record."
Yeah, but you know, I enjoyed
our guest is
being
supposed
regaled.
To. Yeah.
I enjoyed being scared.
There's a lot of history there.
Rama says unconvincingly.
Yeah.
No expression
I like
on her
history,
face.
and that's what kept me in. Is the historical content.
I enjoyed knowing more about how your ghost tour went, because I know that you didn't tell me because you wanted to wait for the podcast, and so I enjoyed hearing about the little ghost hug. I'm gonna find that ghost baby and adopt it.
Children wanting you.
Well, here's the kicker.
But I don't have to pay for ghost college.
I was so sure that it was a mosquito bite, because it felt like a mosquito bite, and there was nothing there.
There's no welt or anything.
No. And I felt it like twice, and I like just slapped at my leg.
You slapped the ghost,
and then she looked at me.
You slapped their hand.
Well, they still love me because they hugged me after that. They're like, "It's okay.
It's okay. You're alive. We're dead. What does it matter?
I want one.
A ghost baby?
Less responsibility.
I don't know. But I'll get the government would like that.
I can claim the ghost baby on my taxes. All right. Well, we're just getting way off topic, but thank you for your tale, Leila.
Thank
And
you.
thank you,
Thanks for
Emma, for
listening.
listening.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks so much for listening. If you'd like to get in touch, you can reach us at podcomplaywithus@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from our listeners. So if you have real life ghost stories or paranormal encounters and you think it'll scare the shit out of us, please send them in. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.